If this is your first time here, you're probably picking up on the fact that we all know each other very, very well. And it's one of the greatest gifts that we bestow to one another with our words. Over the course of the year, each of the seniors gave a speech in this special place that we call chapel. And now we will hear about these remarkable young people from the faculty and staff who they feel know them best. We begin with John Isaacson, who will speak on behalf of Jasper Bailey Petrovic.
So if you were to arrive at Midland for the first time one afternoon this past year, you would likely hear Jasper before you saw him. Across campus, you can hear him drumming, laying down the beat for I Will Follow by You Too, or executing the massive fills from Burning Down the House by the Talking Heads. If you detect a theme in those songs and artists, it will make perfect sense to you that Jasper was wearing a Hall & Oates t-shirt at graduation practice yesterday. But Jasper doesn't like everything from the 80s. He has taste. He knows good music and good art, whether it's pop music, fashion, photography, woodworking, or ceramics. It's timeless. And he has cultivated an aesthetic that is distinctly his own. He's not interested in promoting it or forcing it on others and doesn't even necessarily like drawing attention to it. But as an artist, Jasper has direction, purpose, and dare I say, passion. He's not only a drummer, but an accomplished photographer who researches and scopes out locations, finds camera angles, designs shots, so he can balance and compose the perfect image of brightly colored railroads and natural scenery. During his 9th grade year on a midterm project, I had a window into his artist's process, driving him to locations so he could photograph freight trains. And during his junior year, he won the Cosby Scholarship, putting together a book you can get in our library, Trains of Eastern Washington. I also marveled at the pithy sentences and active verbs and captions he conjured up for each photo. But how he knows where and when and what kind of trains are coming is beyond me. He doesn't easily reveal his methods, and it adds to the mystery of his art. The 1980s themed soundtrack for his high school years might also include Take Me Out to the Ball Game, as Jasper has maintained a steadfast interest in sports, analyzing the monetization of baseball statistics for his senior thesis. Jasper isn't just a scholar, drummer, and photographer, but also an athlete who's run cross country all 4 years at Midland, and this year has taken his basketball team to CIFs. Jasper, it's been a pleasure to see where your talents take you, and I can't wait to see where they take you next. And now, Charlotte Greenblatt will speak on behalf of Terra Borders.
Tara is part of some of the closest friendships you have ever seen. Tara and Zoe have been such a pair for such a long time that I forget that there was a point in time when they actually met. When they decided not to room together during sophomore year, Tara got a new student, Kate, as her roommate. I thought, how lucky can you be to transfer to a boarding school in this scary COVID time and get Tara as your first roommate? This person who is cool, but not too cool, who is kind and fun and goofy, and who will go out of their way to bring you in on the joke. So here's how I'll remember Tara. In junior year, Tara, Zoe, and Kate would travel in a pack doing their morning jobs. One of them was my classroom cleaner, and one of them was flag and mail, and one of them must have had another job, but who can tell? Because they went from one to another in a giggle parade, sometimes with full-on choreography that they made me stop and watch, and music that might come from speakers or maybe an imaginary trumpet. If there was a job to be done, they were going to do it well, and they were going to do it together, and they were going to have a great time. So this is the thing to learn from Tara. Yes, do the work, but make it fun. Lean on your friends when you need them, and be there for them when they need you. Take care of the people around you. Take care of the new roommate. Take care of the old friend. Take care of the little 9th graders and the not so little waiters. and know that in return, they will be there for you. And now, Tristan Harvey will speak on behalf of Daisy Dean.
Daisy and I have been in this together for 4 years, 3 classes, and 1.25 years of advising. And I can honestly say that this has been a true pleasure. Knowing her, I truly feel like I'm graduating with her. Daisy has such a great sense of humor, and she is someone I feel like I can easily joke around with. She's so fun and funny. It's great to have someone around who you can appreciate and does appreciate sarcasm, even calling me out or dishing it out herself, helping me eat some of my own humble pie, which I would argue is good for the soul. Daisy is an amazingly gifted artist and a musician. I feel privileged that we have had and been graced to have the opportunity to bask in her work in her presence, whether it be her performing on stage for our community or in the art room. And more recently, where she had laid it all out there with her impressive senior project. I am truly amazed at how gifted she is. Not to mention the breadth and the depth of her cultural diversity. It's absolutely inspiring. Being personally connected to and identifying with such beautiful and unique cultures is something I envy. Daisy has taught me so much about modern Jewish culture, which I have really appreciated. She has also reminded me of my own British culture, reflecting on the culture I was once accustomed with as a child, causing me to dream again, and getting to know my roots and visiting England like she recently has. One of her greatest gifts is how she purposely and powerfully holds up a lamp to that which should be illuminated. She remembers and sheds light on others, their concerns, their hardships, their sacrifices, their stories. Helping shed light on them and illuminating them in the forefront of our minds for our community has been extremely refreshing. She is mature far beyond her years. Her smile and laugh are contagious. I'm really looking forward to hearing about the next chapter and adventures in her life. And selfishly, I hope we get to do life together someday, even if it's just for a day. And I would like to welcome Alina Acosta, who will now speak on behalf of Gael Delgado.
Gael loves the outdoors. You could find him going off on adventures on the Midland property, oftentimes with a plan in mind, from collecting mushrooms to wildflowers, to building or tearing down things. He goes above and beyond with his creative feats. I fondly remember doing a wreath-making experiential Saturday, while the typical person collects foliage on the property to make one average-sized wreath. I saw Gael with a giant mountain of cut vegetation and thought, what will he do with this? In the usual Gael fashion, he had a plan. Many of you may have even seen it during Thanksgiving. Gael made a beautifully enormous Saturn wreath. Yes, you heard correctly. It was a giant ball with a ring around it, covered with branches, leaves, and flowers, and it hung right here above Stillman Porch. His cleverness and I'm just gonna do it attitude are bone deep. His joy in building is evident. You can often find him fixing bikes and tinkering with objects. During a nightly check-in, as I approached Gael's cabin, I nearly tripped to find an unexpected porch he decided to build unbeknownst to any faculty. I guess we can say that Gael never gets bored. He finds new things to do and create. Sometimes his ambitions are bountiful, but he is willing to take risks and have fun. Like when he decided to use an extremely large pull cart made by his friends to not only shuttle them around, but to pick them up in their cabins for prom in the amphitheater. Gael is an old soul. From his obsession with Bob Dylan and folk music, he truly walks his own path and carves detours along the way. I can't imagine years from now Although his name may be lost, the memories he created and the stories told about him, from trying to build a cabin in the woods to spending time with chickens in their enclosure while dressed as one, will add to the remembrance of students past who attended Midland. I hope to see his pictures and videos uncovered by future students, all talking about the legendary Gael and his endeavors. His willingness to take a risk and his adventurous spirit make him a true Midlander. And now Lupita Cepeda will speak on behalf of Rumor Fletcher.
Rumor, amigo mijo. It doesn't matter how I call you, you always respond with a smile or a sign of affection. For that and other many things, I will always have you in my heart. Thank you for giving me a smile every day, for sharing your time with me, for telling me little secrets, and having trust in me. Thank you for making me feel important in your life. So many things that you're giving without you even knowing. But hey, the school year is over, and today I want to remind you that behind you, all the memories. In front of you, all your dreams. And around you, all the people who loves you. Inside of you, all you need to be successful. As you close this chapter, I want you to know that you make me very proud, because it wasn't easy. I remember your sophomore year. I will see you walk by my window, los tres amigos, Logan, Gael, and Rumor, and I will think, those guys are up on something. Maybe you thought I was ruining your plan by saying, no anden de traviesos y pórtense bien. And you, Rumor, you always respond, no, Lupita, we won't be in trouble. And I believe you. And now we are here, graduating for Midland School, class of 2023. I'm so proud of you guys. Rumor, remember, I will always be your fan number one. My favorite player, 22. And now I present Michael Soboski, who will speak about Zoe Hadley.
Cruise, big green tractor, international harvester. Anytime I hear one of these three mediocre, yet incredibly catchy country songs that dwell in the podium position of the Farmstagram playlist, memories of you and your farm crew come to mind. Each morning on the farm, you tended a culture of support, accountability, and commitment. Even on the gray, rainy, muddy mornings, you found a way to create some sort of light. Your leadership has set a benchmark for the future of farm eds, and for that, I'm grateful to you. When you shared your chapel a few months ago, I was struck by the tone of compassion that rang through as you recounted the story of your neighbor and the profound way that he's impacted your life and the lives of your family. You said that you aim to be more like him, to be someone who gives generously and without thought of reciprocation. I want to tell you in plain words that you are giving of the abundance that you have. You are compassionate. You are kind. You are a leader, and you lead with heart and by example. You are strong, and you are tender. You create joy and laughter in this community. your support for those around you. You inspire and you create goodness in the world, and this world, in all of its beauty and insanity, needs that goodness. I have no advice or gems of wisdom that I'm not sure you're not already aware of, or that I don't think you're equipped to explore on your own. So I'll leave you with this final blessing. Be the whole of who you are. Continue leading with your heart, and know that there are so many people here that will support you as you move into the next season of your life. And next, I'd like to introduce Andrew Gardiner, who will speak on the behalf of Emilia Horn.
Emmy, the best way I can describe how you perceive the world is through a telescope with a rose-colored lens. Not only because you are able to find the optimism everywhere, but because you are able to zoom in and out so freely with your perspective of the world. You are an existential being and use your imagination and reason to curate this vision. A memory comes to mind. While we were on a field geology outing, I think it was, you took the time to explain the mathematics of nature through fractals, how they appear in patterns such as branches of trees, leaves, lightning, snowflakes, and even landforms. In that moment, you forever adjusted my view of the world and my perception of who you were as a human being. I have also seen that one of your most redeeming qualities is your loyalty to your friends, especially your crew. You almost in a way protect them, help settle their disputes, provide a voice of reason, which they often need when group decision-making is the focus. You stand up for them, and in essence, whether they know it or not, you are a glue that binds them together. Emmy, continue to share your views on life and question your existence, because it is you that will offer a perspective to others needing a little more rose-colored hue. Regina Butala will now speak on behalf of Jillian Kissel.
Jillian has shown grit, determination, integrity, flexibility, strength, and wit. She has been head of horses, a fierce advocate in our community, and Buckaroo's best friend. These last 4 years of Jillian's journey have been an honor to watch unfold. Her contributions to this community and the horse program will lay a lasting impression, especially to one amazing member of our herd, Buckaroo. Jillian's Seed Project was a true testament to her ability to dig in when challenges arise and not give up. We Midlanders know this as grit. She has been a true leader and helped her horse progress leaps and bounds in his development, increasing his confidence with obstacles and new situations. And no, it was not about the trailer. Not only an accomplished horsewoman, she served on the student council with astute practicality and unwavering logic. As an advocate, she led us into deep reflection during our DEIJ summit to understand ableism and how those that are differently abled are impacted. As a writer and an engaging presenter, she blew us all away with her beautifully written chapel about her reluctance of becoming an adult. We are so proud and cannot wait to see what your future holds as you continue your horsemanship dreams at Feather River College. The community there will benefit in ways that we here at Midland have been by having such an amazing person among them. A couple words of advice as you continue your journey with horses. The horse will always be your best teacher and will always tell the truth if you listen. Stay humble, and always look up. And now I'd like to introduce Ellie Moore, who will speak on behalf of Kate Levinson.
Since we created Midland's Portrait of a Graduate nearly 5 years ago, we've wondered often as a faculty if the last part of the fourth DEIJ competency is too aspirational to expect of high school students. That is, to engage with complexities of social justice in order to enrich communities. And then I think of Kate. I spoke last night to some of the ways Kate took on challenging topics in the social sciences, from the death penalty to the Electoral College, CRT to volunteerism, and how she enriched this community's learning in and outside of the classroom. In addition to getting to know Kate the scholar, I've been lucky enough to witness Kate the constant, compassionate prefect, and of course, Kate the friend. Steadfast arm in arm with her best mates, always singing some ridiculous new rendition of the national anthem, accompanied by a laugh that carries like a river of effervescent light across campus. Kate was also the first student to be trusted with the responsibility of managing the props board, garnering peer engagement in what I believe to be one of our most valuable traditions of community affirmation. It may seem like a small act, but to me it is also a radical piece of that competency of enriching communities. This world you are all stepping out into is a wild landscape. It can be hard to know what news to believe or trust, with all the adults shouting about the downfall of democracy and how teaching students about diversity will make them hate their country and succumb to despair. I'd like those people to meet Kate. Oh, Lord, everybody knew it was coming. I'd like to show them this young person that has taken it upon herself to engage with the complexities of the world and is only further motivated to investigate solutions that better the world for everyone. And in Kate's words in our CRT workshop, if the politicians didn't want us to study it, they shouldn't have made it such a big deal. This world needs Kate, her brilliant curiosity, her giant heart, her ebullient laugh, to keep pushing those around her to engage with the big deals that one generation has created for the next. Keep kindling that critical curiosity about the messiness of the world and hold fast to your conviction for justice, Kate. Whether you go on to create sweeping legislation that overturns systemic injustices, or to continue being a steadfast companion, or to keep doling out incredibly meaningful props to individuals, measure your greatness not by scale of impact, but by your ability to live true to what you believe in, to share your full, authentic, beautiful self with this world and the people in it. And now, I'd like to introduce Faith Nygren, who will be speaking on behalf of Wilson Lee.
I've known Wilson for almost 4 years now. The first class I had with him was ceramics online, as he was in China due to COVID and couldn't return. He also couldn't join the Zoom meeting with other students because of the time difference. So he and I met twice a week, and it was often technically challenging. His junior year, he took drawing, painting, and 2D design. And this past year, he took advanced 2D and 3D art, and he had a great year of work. Through his chapel and his senior thesis, we were able to hear Wilson's story and interests. In volleyball, Wilson was a critical member of our volleyball team. As a team of 7 and 6 people on the court at all times, he was nearly always on the court. He would courageously leap, dive, and jump for the ball. He had great serving streaks. I asked other students and faculty members, hey, what makes Wilson tick? What's he all about? Rumors seemed to sum up Wilson in the most succinct manner possible. He knows what makes him happy, and he does that quietly. Indeed, Wilson clearly knows what makes him happy. From what I see in his artworks, Bold, solid design, intense contrast of darks and lights, clear symbolic imagery. There's a lot going on inside Wilson. When we talk, there's usually a big smile on his face, regardless of the topic of conversation. His responses to my prodding about his choices leads to the most simple and straightforward answers. When I ask him about the future, he says simply, Purdue. When I ask him about the summer before Purdue, he says, home. Everything is said with a big smile on his face. When I check him in at his cabin at night, he's smiling. When he signs in at breakfast, again, the smile. Wilson seems happy with whatever he does. Whatever he was thinking about when he made all the vibrantly bold prints and drawings and sculptures in my art classes, it was good. When he imagines his future, it's good, because the smile is there. I look forward to seeing and hearing about what Wilson does in the future, and I hope he continues to stay happy and to keep smiling. And now Charlotte will introduce Perry Maskell.
I've been trying to think of how to say this so you all won't take it the wrong way. And here's as close as I can get. I am really excited for Perry to not be in high school. And now I know the reasons that you might take this the wrong way. For one, after spending the COVID year as a faculty assigned to Perry's cohort, I was pretty done with yelling at those boys because they had forgotten their individual thermometers, or because they were standing too close together, or because they had, once again, found something to light on fire. Or you might think that I am referring to Perry's long-standing and consistent commitment to not doing my pre-calculus homework. But that's not what I mean. Because here's the thing about Perry. When he is in, he is all in. Based on Perry's track record regarding my homework and his room cleaning, I was nervous as his chapel date approached. What should I do if Perry just didn't do it? But then, Perry showed up to our first chapel practice with a chapel that was complete, polished, and excellent. Because when Perry is interested in something, it is great. Even when that something is an inglorious task, like repairing Genevieve's vacuum or spreading compost on the farm, you put Perry in charge of a group of students and it gets done. From the freshman Algebra 1 student who would come to my classroom early just to copy out Schrodinger's equations from memory, to the senior in pre-calculus who spontaneously taught me the mathematics of noise cancellation, Perry wants to know and understand and learn interesting things and share his ideas and try things out. Perry, I am excited for you to follow your passions and to get to see where that leads you. And now, Tristan Harvey will speak on behalf of Logan Ochner.
Oh, Logan. Logan is so intelligent, and he's such a magnetic personality. I'm inspired by how well he connects with others, and I'm inspired by his intellect. Logan is constantly at the forefront of the upper yard cohort of boys, his tribe, who I will always affectionately refer to as the sophomore boys. Solidified in my mind by the crazy sophomore year. This epic tribe Logan helped to create, this tribe known for building bike jumps, building a secret cabin up in the hills, going on extreme off-trail adventures, constantly throwing football passes around not middle yard, and making a 4-year Midland vlog documentary, which I hope to see someday. Not to mention the adventures from creating a skateboard out of an old laptop. I love how Logan wants authentic connection and adventure, even if sometimes he struggles to stay within the confines of school rules. Laps, so many laps, especially his sophomore year. But I loved his spirit. Logan isn't scared of work, especially doing meaningful work. He wanted his lap's jobs to be challenging for him physically and intellectually. So I gave him puzzling jobs. Logan learned how to fiberglass surfboards and do major repairs, which may or may not have sent him to the ER at least once. I had him work on school SUVs. Once, I had him remove a tow hitch of bolting it off of one SUV and then getting it set for another SUV. Not to mention moving that surf rack, the surf rack that I had moved from car to vehicle to other vehicle. Every other vehicle in the fleet, and Logan's the one that did it for me. And when Logan had completed all of his laps, I was amazed how often he would work on the engine. He would actually ask to work on the engine of my own car because he had nothing else to do. I was grateful simply because he wanted to do something meaningful for someone else. But my favorite connection with Logan will always be having the blessing of teaching and helping him grow in the love that he has now for surfing. In fact, the funniest day after a great surf session that I've ever had with him was laughing as I watched him ride on a little kid's bike, trying to escape, being chased by an angry little dog who I'm sure Logan had nothing to do with antagonizing. Logan smiling all the way down the beach, just out of range of that dog's bite. With Logan's value for deep friendship, authentic adventure, and meaningful work, I can see how he will go far and wide in life. I can't wait to see where his future takes him. No doubt it will be meaningful, and like always, will make for a great story. I now welcome Genevieve Herrick, who will now speak on behalf of Emma Rudy.
Strong, hardworking, dependable, authentic, loyal, and determined. Head prefect, head of horses, cross-country captain. Emma wears many hats of responsibility and leadership at Midland, but I've had the pleasure of knowing Emma as part of my home and family. I'll try. Emma comes to our house most nights for status. She stands in front of our open fridge looking for a snack and sits on our couch doing homework for hours. Last year, I saw Emma more often than I saw my own son, who is also a Midland student. Every status night her junior year, Emma burst through our front door like a giant gust of wind, filling the room with her emotions. I had the best day of my life, she often declared. When prompted about the latest best day ever, Emma produced photos of Goji, her project horse, standing on a step or lifting his front hoof, or shared that she had passed to the next level of horsemanship or got Gator certified that day. The horse program provided Emma's joy. The barn, her sanctuary. The place she developed deep relationships with horses and humans alike. Goji, Midnight, and Olaf, friends on the horse crew, and of course, Gina. I remember Emma stepping through the door last year to find Amelie upset by the social tribulations of 7th grade. I watched Emma swallow her own emotions and say to Amelie, "Who made you feel this way? I'll come to your school and beat them up." For the record, Emma would never beat up a 7th grader. But she knew precisely what to say to make her 12-year-old chosen sister's tears turn to laughter. Some nights, Emma crossed the threshold of our home in a tornado of her own turbulent emotions. This year, she carried the weight of head prefecting alone. While waiting an agonizing eternity for college acceptances. And next year, Emma looks forward to shedding some responsibility, to playing ice hockey as a freshman at Bates. Emma,
I hope your college experience is filled with many more best days of your life. And know that as long as we are here, you will always have a family at Midland. Andrew Gardner will now speak on behalf of Christopher Wick.
As we rest at each switchback to catch our breath in the thin mountain air, Christopher exclaims how beautiful the Alpine is. He then admits, it was so difficult to make a decision to try something new, but even more difficult to choose something that I never thought I could do. We then stand, put on our packs, and continue our journey. Christopher's transformation has been subtle, but he is seemingly a subtle human being. He is delicately complex, and many would not understand or even notice the challenges he has overcome and the change he has enacted in his life since coming to Midland at the start of his junior year. There will be more mountains to climb, figuratively and physically, along with those beautiful realizations and lessons learned. Keep doing the things that scare you and the things that you don't think you can do. You may be subtly surprised. I want to finish by pointing out a few qualities that you should never shed from your spirit. First is your calmness. I have never seen you actually angry or enraged, or even openly mad at someone. Maybe Perry, but Second is your gentleness. After Phil's chapel this year about being gentle, I thought of you as probably one of the most gentle individuals I know. Lastly, your patience. Christopher, don't wait by watching the mountains from afar. Get up, get out, accomplish your goals, and patiently watch the seeds of your milestones grow.